Real quick, don't go through anybody's trash because you might find poop. That's the moral of the story.
So, my name is Jocelyn. I'm
Hello.
pretty sure most of us have been fans for years. And so, like how somebody else said, I've been great fans since I've
Thank you.
And so, how was it kind of going through the process of like the change of imagery of the band?
Yeah.
And like kind of going through like the whole entire like going with what the band wanted to do, but how was it when the fans would kind of lash out and be like, oh well, we liked it better when you were this way,
Sure.
or something like that. So how did you cope with that?
You know, it's difficult to do what you want artistically and appease an audience that has helped you. You know, those are two things you always have to be mindful of. It's also difficult because for me, there's been so many transitions for the band. I started the band when I was 16 years old in Cincinnati with a revolving door of members, and it was Black Veil Brides, but there wasn't really a band. It was just kind of me and then whoever could come out on the weekend to play a show and dress up like a crazy person. You know, that was kind of the only requirement is, do you kind of play an instrument and can I put paint all over your body? So the imagery changed a lot back then because there's a guy who comes in and he's bald and kind of overweight and doesn't look like the band's aesthetic, so I go, he's the skeleton, so I dress him up like a skeleton or whatever. So from show to show the band looked different back then. By the time I had moved to Los Angeles and then subsequently met the members of the bands that mostly are the members that exist now, and we actually became a real band, the imagery then started to shift into what became the more streamlined, known look that people know of, the paint and the hair and the whole thing. But that was never meant to be everything. Like when I was a little kid, I never thought, I can't wait to be in a band and wear spandex pants and cover myself in body paint. Like that wasn't the thought. The thought was always just to do cool shit, and in the moment when there was an image that was thought of, just to do it. So by the time Wretched and Divine came around, I had designed and drawn all these costumes and ideas that felt just as genuine to the band as the, you know, crazy makeup and all that other stuff. So when fans started to say, well, this isn't what the band looks like, it was the first time I had ever faced the kind of confusion that came with like, well, no, I felt the same way about this and that. Like, it came from my brain. Why is that not the same? But now, as I've gotten older, I kind of understand that people associate with different eras. And the thing that they got into the band is the reason why they, you know, there's people who would want me to walk out on stage tonight with like kind of a swoopy bowl haircut and all white clothes and just do that era. And there's people who would come and go, oh, I'm sad they don't look like the Fallen Angels video. So what you have to understand is that there's no way to please everybody. And there's always going to be people that are mad at you no matter what you do. And that's also okay, because that's the way they have taken the art, and what it's meant to them is entirely personal. You know, the other day, we had a woman who said that she was in the Army, and she was in Desert Storm, and she thinks of Wretched and Divine as a record that speaks directly to her experience in the military. Obviously, when I sat and wrote those lyrics to those songs in the story arc, I was not in the military, that's not my experience. But art affects everyone differently, and to her that's just as true as it is to me when I was writing the songs. So the visual part of it, you do your best to try to make people happy, but at the end of the day, you gotta like what you're doing. Hello. Hi, Olivia.
What was your main inspiration into doing Knives and Pens?
Inspiration, do you mean like the theme of the video or to doing the video in general?
Just everything, like music, the lyrics, the video, like everything.
I can give you a full breakdown from beginning to video. We were in a very early stage in the band. I used to write with a guy named Chris Stewart, who was same age as me, my best friend growing up, and he was the first real guitar player in Black Veil Brides from Northern Kentucky, and we would sit in his parents' basement and eat this shit called pizza bread, which was just like a fucking cake that had pizza toppings on it. It was brutal. But we would sit and eat, his mom would make it, and we would sit and eat it and just talk about being big rock stars. And one night, we had decided to take some of the songs that we had kind of half-assed finished and really apply ourselves and finish them. And We Stitch These Wounds was the first song that we did, and Knives and Pens was the second song. And the idea was, like, I will be honest with you, at least 40% of the first songs in the material on the first album is just me being butthurt about my girlfriend finding somebody else that she liked better than me. Like, that's a huge percentage of the material, is me being a teenage boy, like, well, fuck you. I remember, like, that's really what a lot of the songs are about. And that song in particular walked the line between being mad about feeling heartbroken and being mad about people being mean to me all the time when I was in school or wherever else. And I think that for me, that's probably, if I look back, what connected with people, particularly young people, the most was that I was a teenager writing about things that I feel like a lot of other teenagers felt. I was the same age as the audience of people listening to it. You know, I was 17 years old when we shot the video. And that's, to me, probably what connected with people. But the video itself, I had no money, so I had to borrow money and try to come up with a concept and everything else. But I knew I wanted to have someone that represented kind of a young me, going through school, dealing with all the signs that are on the kids' lockers in the video were all things that were actually put on my locker when I was in school. And I mean, I had people put fucking fish in my locker and all kinds of shit, and I would have all that stuff written on my locker. And so I wanted to be able to have a representation of what I was feeling. And for me, I believe I was 18 when we shot the video, because I had just moved and I had just dropped out of high school, and all of these feelings were very fresh. So the inspiration to me was literally 6 months ago, I was in high school and you were all making fun of me. Now I'm going to make this music video and you're going to see what I'm capable of, you know. Hello.
Hi, Andy. I like your shoes, by the way.
Thank you.
I saw your movie for the first time last night, American Satan.
Okay.
Dude, you did some sketchy stuff, man. How did your...
I did. That's a movie, though, to be clear.
Yeah. Dude, how did your family and your wife react to all those scenes you did, man?
The first time I ever watched the movie at all, the first time I ever saw any cut of the movie, I was sitting with my wife on this side and my father-in-law and sister-in-law on the other side. And then the whole Blackville Brides, and then like John Feldman, just everyone that I knew in my life, just watching me have pretend sex on heroin in a movie. Hi, that's me. Like, you know, I don't, the truth is, because the story is one of redemption, I think it's easier for people to deal with, because they know that, first of all, they know that's not me at all. I'm afraid to get a flu shot, so you know, I'm not partaking in that. And secondly, the character goes through an arc, and it's never, the audience never feels like Johnny is doing the right thing. There's never a glorification of like, he's really killing it doing all those drugs. It's, he's fucking up and he needs to get back to what he's good at. So in that way, there was never any weirdness. But I think probably for my father-in-law going to work the next day, when, you know, I mean, I would assume people were like, hey, how was your son-in-law's movie? Oh, great, great, great. Yeah. Hey, bud, how you doing?
Good, how are you?
We go way back.
Yeah, we do.
How have you been?
Good, man. How about you? Kind of going back to her question, I was just wondering, I think it's back in 2013.
Yes.
There's a little bit of talk about doing some new stuff with the cheese wounds, and I know it's kind of been brought up again, so
yeah.
Talk a little bit about that. Tell us.
Yeah, I mean, the truth is that I'm kind of glad we didn't do it in 2013, because we have so much more stuff that we've been able to kind of uncover now. The initial idea was to re-record all of We Stitch These Wounds and re-release it. Our previous label, we couldn't, just politics, we couldn't get it to work. And now, for the first time in the last 7 years, we found ourselves in kind of a free agency period where we opted out of our deal and we wanted to just see what we could do. And rather than jump into another record contract right away for multiple records, we said, this is our opportunity to do this passion project we always wanted to do. And so we've signed a deal just to get this done, and we're going to do a huge package where the intention is to re-record the whole album, include every demo that we can find. There's a live DVD that was shot in San Diego that nobody ever saw in, I believe, 2009 or 2010, and include all the original artwork, photos, as much memorabilia and stuff as we can. I really want to make it something that's a huge celebration of the 10 years of the band since that record's release. So it'll either be out next summer or the following summer, either on BVB Day in summer of 2019 or the following summer. And then I've got all kinds of other crazy plans that I don't know that they'll work yet, but I have a lot of ideas.
Cool. A lot of Richard stuff in there too?
Yes, yeah.
2 more. We got time for 2 more.
Hi, Andy.
Hello.
My name's Mike, by the way. Since I was 13, I've actually been playing guitar, and you were actually my inspiration to actually start writing music and playing.
That's awesome. Thank you so much.
But I was wondering, what was it like if you've ever, you know, thought, oh my God, this is where I've actually made it?
You know, it's rough. It's a rough question to say when you've made it, because if this were 1985 in a movie about rock stars, there'd be that moment where the guy gets the $6 billion home and he gets the 3 cars or whatever. And the truth is, and everybody knows this, that being a rock musician in this day and age, it's a little bit harder road. And I've been fortunate, and I've gotten to live a great life thus far, and I have a very, comfortable situation. But there isn't like that ridiculous, like, I'm now a rock star and fuck everybody moment. And I'm happy there isn't, because that really wasn't my dream. To be completely honest with you, when I was a kid, my dream wasn't to have a palace and a billion cars and everything else. My dream was literally